first request of the night is coming in from Lee. This is Gordon Lightfoot, and this is The Wreck of Edmund Fitzgerald. Okay. Um, and the note here says, oh, no, it says, I heard a rumor that you like songs that tell a story. Yeah, I do. Well, Gordon Lightfoot was Canada's troubadour. Rest in peace, May 1st, 2023. I guess he died at 84 of natural causes. All right. All right. This must be one that tells a story. Here we go. Hold up. Gotta fix the things. Okay. Why am I still not getting audio? Okay, can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it? Oh. There is no sound. Okay. Y'all, it was playing, and I'm like, there is no sound. I even fixed my stuff. Like, there's no sound. There was literally no audio on the thing. Okay, here we go.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi.
Hold up. Something sounds familiar about this. I wonder if I might have heard this as a child. Like, this sounds familiar, but like from a long time ago. I don't know that I've heard this in my adulthood, but this sounds like I may have heard this when I was younger.
The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore.
Hold up. Sorry. Lock in, Julie, to the lyrics. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call... Okay. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. Okay.
From the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling?
So I know we haven't really gotten to the story yet. We're just setting up, some subtext here. But just initial thoughts. I love the acoustic. Obviously, y'all know I love acoustic guitar. I love acoustic music. I love the storytelling, so like I'm here for it. He's got a nice voice. So what I'm about to say, it's gonna sound like a backhanded compliment, and I don't mean it that way. I genuinely don't, okay? The thing that I love about like folk music, whether or even kind of to some degree kind of bluegrass country, singer-songwriter folk music, all of those, I mean, each of those is kind of their own Americana, like each of those kind of has their own little niche or their own little like thing that's slightly different that you know that are make them different categories, but they kind of all have this similar vein that runs through them, or this common vein that runs through them, in that I feel like it's kind of like the common man music or the everyman music. And what I mean by that is that it's accessible to like anyone. Like anyone can pick up a guitar, pick up an instrument and just sing and tell a story. And the vocals don't have to be all crazy. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be like some professional, like classically trained vocalist. You don't have to be like, you know what I mean? You don't even necessarily have to be like a classically trained guitarist even. And that's not to say that they don't have talent, but it's like anybody can just kind of learn. It often, country music especially often gets referred to as three chords and the truth. Okay, it's basically all it comes down to three chords and the truth. And I feel like that's what makes it so like accessible and everyman, is that anybody can learn three chords and tell a story. And so that's why I said it might sound like a bit of a backhanded compliment, because I'm not in any way saying that this guy doesn't have a good voice or that he can't sing or that he can't play. Like, I'm not saying any of that. He clearly can, okay? And there's some phenomenal vocalists and phenomenal musicians in those arenas. So by no means am I saying that those genres are like talentless or anything like that. That's not at all what I'm saying. I love those genres. I live in those genres, okay? That's the kind of stuff I make. But like, that's what I love about it, is it's very, I said, it's three chords and the truth. Anybody can access it. It's not this like elitist, like gate kept thing. Anybody can pick up an instrument and make music and tell a story. And that's the kind of vibes I'm getting from this. Like, I like his voice sounds so just sort of familiar and like accessible. You know what I mean? And I like that. Like, I dig that. I dig that style of music.
The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull it back just a little bit, because I like that line. When the wave broke over the railing, and every man knew, as the captain did too. Oh, I think we need a little more line there. There it is. The wind in the wires made a tattletale sound when the wave broke over the railing, and every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealin'. Like, that's some poetry, my friend. That's some poetry. Let's see, Xanafrim says, not anyone can do it. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. No, but that's what I mean. Like, but you can, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. Even if it doesn't sound like all pretty and like vocalisty or whatever, like, you could. Like, you could pick up a song and just sit and sing with your friends in your living room. And it really doesn't matter if it sounds bad. It's just fun and it's accessible. You know what I mean? It's like, it comes from your soul. Like, it's not. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, I don't mean that to say that this genre is filled with people who don't have talent, because clearly, like, that's not the case. But I'm just saying that I feel it's the most accessible, in that even those that don't feel musically inclined can still sit in their living room and sing this and play this, and it's, you know what I mean? So, yeah. All right. Hey, Alex, I can do that. I can do that when we're done here. Let me get through this song. Okay.
Tail sound, and the wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait, when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain, in the face of a hurricane west wind. When supper time came, the old cook came on deck, saying, fellas, it's too rough to feed you. 7 p.m. a main hatchway caved in. He said, fellas, it's been good to know ya. The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Lake Huron rolls, Superior sings in the rooms of her ice-water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. And farther below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. The iron boats go as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered.
Yeah, the drums with the electric instruments is like fantastic.
In a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors' Cathedral.
I like the way he pronounced Detroit in order to like stretch out the syllables for the melody. That was kind of cheeky.
Musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors' Cathedral. The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. And the legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early.
That was cool, man. Round of applause. None of my stuff is working tonight. What the hell? Let's try again. Okay. I don't know why my round of applause thing isn't working. Turn it off and turn it back on again. Let's try it again. Nope. Still not working. Try again. There it goes. Can you guys hear that now? I swear, my stuff is so temperamental. So temperamental. Y'all. Alright. So round of applause for that. Yeah, that was cool. That was definitely a story. Like, that's the kind of stuff I dig. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Can I make my volume louder? Like this one, my mic? I can. How's that? How's that? Yeah, my audio is super temperamental. Like I can't, if I turn one thing up a little too high, it starts all echoing and freaking out. So then I turn this thing off down over here and then this thing freaks out and then that thing gets fixed and then that thing freaks out. Like I just like I have to like not I have to like be careful what I touch. So hopefully I'm not like super peaking. The other day I thought I got it good. I was like, yeah, finally I got the volume right. I could hear myself. Everything was great. And then I went and listened to it in post, like editing, right? And when I go to edit it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, my sound is peaking so bad. It sounded like the sound sounded awful, but in the stream, I felt like it sounded good. So I'm just like, I don't, whatever. Hey, it's Nate. Nate with a silent K. Okay, the K is silent, y'all. Um, yeah. So, anyways, all right. But back to this song. Back to the song. Sorry, my ADHD is like back to the song. Yeah, that stuff I dig. I love storytelling. I love like folk, like straightforward, like boom, acoustic guitar. Let me just tell this story. And um, I love the drums on that. I loved just the parts that had the electric in it. Even though I love acoustic guitar, the parts with like the guitar solo, like that was awesome. It my brain. I'm so you should have heard the conversation in my brain. Because in my brain, I was like, man, this sounds like so retro and vintage. And then I was like, duh, Julie, it came out in 1976, you moron. Of course it sounds like 70s, because it is, doofus. Anyway, that was what was going on in my head. Okay. Um, oh my goodness. All right, so Helen says that she's been up to Superior. It just sits there, Lake Superior. It just sits there daring you to challenge it. There's no landing or docking spots on it. That's crazy. Okay, and Xanfram says when Gordon died, the Maritime Sailors Cathedral church bells rang 30 times. Oh, that's cool. Because like the 29 sailors and then him. That's awesome. That's awesome. He donated all the money from this song to the family. Oh, so this is like based on a real story. This isn't even just like telling a story. Like this was like legit, like a real story. Okay, I love that even more. Honestly, I love that even more. I love I think was it Helen? Was it Helen or Sorry? I think it was Helen that brought me like Patty Larkin, that Patty Larkin song. Um when something is like based on an actual story like that I love that because it's just like to me it's like giving voice to the voiceless. It's giving voice to stories that may not otherwise be heard. So wow, he donated all the money from that song to the families. That's cool, man. That's so cool. That's yeah. Bring me honestly, if he's got any more like this, like in this kind of similar vein, even if it's not a storytelling one, like even just in this vein, this kind of style of music, hit me with it, man. Like hit me with it. Like I totally dug that for real.